This is the Tiger II, one of the best tier 8 tanks you can currently get in World of Tanks Blitz. It's got a great gun able to penetrate not only equal tiered opponents quite easily, but as well up tiered opponents at tier 9. It's got fantastic frontal armor, and as well, great mobility for a super heavy. The Tiger II really is one of the strongest tier 8 heavies in World of Tanks Blitz. So you'd think that the VK4503, a very similar design to the Tiger II, would also have very strong frontal armor, decent mobility, and a great gun. Well, it does now. After update 8.1, the frontal armor has become much stronger. Same for the turret, and the gun was already fantastic on the vehicle. Same for the not too bad mobility. In today's video, we are going to be doing a full down review on the revamped VK45, talking about the strengths, the weaknesses, and everything else you need to know. So of course, if you enjoyed today's video and you would like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But let's start off with what changed on the vehicle. Now this was the VK45 before the latest update, and you can see that, yeah, that upper plate, it's not great. It's 150 millimeters thick. Now the lower plate's actually not bad at all. It's 170, but that doesn't change the upper plate from being absolute dog crap. So yeah, that was very poor. And then when you aim at the turret, only being 115 millimeters thick, like literally tier 4s would be penetrating the turret armor on this vehicle. So yeah, it did need some changing. Even though it had a great gun, the Tiger gun, it wasn't really that good because the Tiger outclassed it in every single other aspect. However, in update 8.1, that upper plate is now 186 millimeters thick. And if you're using this fully hull down, the sides are 350 millimeters thick, and that upper plate is ranging upwards of 250 millimeters thick as well. Incredibly strong on that frontal armor. The lower plate is now 164, so still, if you're angling it, you can get some pretty steep armor angles there at 205 millimeters thick and 230 on the upper plate. It's actually incredibly strong now for a tier 7 heavy, and the turret, one of the biggest weaknesses, is now 200 millimeters base, and it goes upwards of 250 on the edges. Incredibly strong, way stronger than it was in update 8.0, and that's going to make this vehicle from a basically terrible and obsolete tank. The issue before is that it didn't have any armor, and it basically carried the same gun as this tank, the Tiger 1. Now, the Tiger 1 goes faster. In fact, it goes 44 kilometers per hour with a 15 power to weight ratio. The VK45 has a worse power to weight ratio, and its top speed is worse, and the gun was basically the same with worse armor. So the Tiger was just better in every aspect. But now in the latest update, oh mama, this vehicle is so much stronger. Now this game here, you're going to see just what the tank is capable of doing. We're going to get a couple bounces here and there. It's got a huge chunk of hit points as well at 1600, so you're able to tank a bunch of shells from the enemy team. Really does do a fantastic job now. Now, how much money would I say is a decent price for this vehicle? Because, of course, if you did want to get your hands on it, you do like this type of playstyle, you love your Tiger, well, I would say anywhere less than about $15. There's really nothing spectacular about the vehicle still, and I do find that if you wanted a free version of this vehicle that still does a pretty solid job, get a Tiger P or a Tiger, because they both carry very similar guns. But speaking about the gun, what is good about it? Well, this carries an incredibly strong amount of damage per minute, and as well, pretty good penetration. You're sitting at around 200 millimeters of standard penetration, and with that, you've got 2400 damage per minute. I'm sitting at a 5.3 second reload for 225 damage a shot. Pretty dang impressive. And the gun, with its .308 dispersion, I think is quite accurate. However, it does have quite a long aiming time. So if this thing does have a very large bloom from driving, you gotta expect that aiming time of around 4.6 seconds to take quite a bit of time. Now already we're at 930 damage this game. Got a nice snap into the side of the Tiger 8.8. And right now I'm being a little bit careful. I'm, being precautious because we got the Tiger in the front, and obviously he's not much of a threat. Well, we do have the Dracula coming up behind me. And of course, I don't want that to really happen. But that guy, he's like, okay, maybe not right now. That's a bad idea. Of course, we've got just as much damage per minute as any medium tank in tier 7, which is great. That means that I don't need to worry about medium tanks out DPMing me. That's something that I do love about this vehicle. What I don't love is for some reason my HE just kept missing the side of that Tiger. It was kind of sad, but again, this Dracula's trying to come up on the side of me here. We get one nice tap right into the vehicle, putting on our adrenaline. Are we going to be able to get another tap out? Well, I'm trying to get a bounce, perfect bounce from the IS-2 Berlin here, and then we got that Dracula Dracula once again pushing quite aggressive. So we've gotten 400 hit points off of him, and now 600 hit points off of that Dracula. You can see just how incredible that damage per minute is. Now we did get a very unfortunate bounce, and you'll notice I am specifically going for the Dracula here because, of course, it is a Dracula, one of the most annoying and deadly tier 7 mediums you'll ever fight. But we've taken a pretty sizable chunk off that vehicle, about 800 hit points, and I can tell you, he's probably not enjoying life all too much right now. We've dumped another pretty big chunk off of that IS-2, and with that, say goodbye to the Dracula, killed him, and oh boy, that Drac you're gonna read in chat is not a happy player. What I find funny is that he yells at me for tunneling even though he kind of instigated the argument. I never understand what goes through the minds of players, but hey, you know what? The game went pretty well. We did 2,600 damage and blocked 1,135. It shows that, yeah, the frontal armor will get bounces now. I guarantee before this battle, or not before this battle, but before the update, I probably would have died there. There would have just been a quick and easy grave right back into the garage. So that is something that's very good about the vehicle, is that it does get bounces. But this game is also going to show that don't expect to get that many bounces. Sure, you will get bounces, a lot of bounces from tier 7 opponents, and especially tier 6. However, tier 8s, let's say like the Ferdinand or the IS-5, or basically any tier 8 at that, unless you're fully hull down, and even then your turret's only about 200 millimeters thick, yeah, expect to be penetrated. The best way I would suggest to use this vehicle is kind of stick out your frontal armor. As I did show, that lower plate is already quite impressively strong. And the upper plate, at now 200 millimeters basically base, if you angle that correctly, you can get both of those plates over 200 effective, making a lot of bounces on that upper plate. Something that's very, very nice. So what do we have here? Well, we got the Yo going off to the side. Not really sure what's going through that guy's mind, but, you know, I'll take a nice shot into him. 224. I really thought we were going to be able to get a second shell in, but no, he just kept on plowing forwards, and because of that, yeah, he's pretty quickly just going to be ending his battle. I don't know what goes through the minds of certain players. I'm going to be honest, I really don't. But we're using that decent mobility. As you can see here, this tank actually does go not too bad on the mobility. It goes 38 kilometers per hour, so because of that, we're easily getting in the position here, and a nice snap right into the front of that Ferdinand. Our T-29 is going to get slapped, though, by him, but because of that, we're able to just have enough penetration to cut through the superstructure of that Ferdinand, already sitting at 640 damage. The DPM is actually fantastic on this vehicle, as you can see. It makes you really appreciate how quickly you can rip into enemy opponents. Again, there's that Panther 2. Not really sure what was going through his mind there, but you know what? I'll take that extra 200 damage. This is where things become a little bit sketchy. You can see I'm going to purposely miss his track wheel. Yeah, unfortunate stuff there. And even though I tried to angle that hull out, you can see he perfectly went straight into my lower plate. The Ferdinand has fantastic standard penetration, and because of that, yeah, I wasn't really expecting it to bounce all too often there. But now we are up behind the IS-5, and with that, pretty nice snap into that vehicle there, and with that, now the T-29 is going to get, hopefully, another shot in. No, he bounces, and so do I. ISs have such a troll amount of armor, don't they? I instantly noticed the SU-152 come onto my side, but thankfully, we've got pretty solid side armor, something that's great about the vehicle. So because of that, yeah, I did at least not get HE penned, but at the same time, we are in a bit of a predicament. Oh, baby, yeah. SU-152, he's aiming at me, but again, thankfully, we're able to angle it just so he can't penetrate that HE on me, get a nice shot into the IS-5, and now I'm going to use that decent mobility, get to the side of the SU-152, and because this tank weighs such an incredible amount, I'm just going to keep him on my side. Woohoo! That was pretty dang stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I'm on like 2 hours of sleep. In fact, as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm gonna upload it, and I'm going to sleep while it's uploading, because my Wi-Fi is that bad I can actually watch the upload go as I sleep. But either way, we're doing pretty good here again. Using that DPM, putting on my adrenaline, we're at 2,600 damage already. Let's get another shot into the Grave Digger. And now we're at 2,843. Are we going to be able to get one more shell out? Well, no, we're going to at the edge of the T-29's turret. But hey, we got that quick reload. Bang! There you go, nice premium round. And with that, 3,070 damage. That shows just how the VK-45 is. That game we bounced 0 damage though. It's a perfect example to show the stark difference of how the armor can work in one game where it's great, but as well, don't expect the armor to be fantastic if you think that it's just going to go out there balls to the walls and bounce every shell. It's a good tank now. In fact, it's a great tank. The gun is fantastic. It's actually a little bit better than your Tiger gun on DPM. The Tiger sits at around, what do we have here? It's at 2412 DPM, and I think the VK's a teeny bit more. Yeah, 2488. So just a little bit better. But apart from that, they're very, very similar. If you like the Tiger, I'd suggest just to stick with the Tiger. Wouldn't waste your money on this vehicle, but it still is a decent tank, and if it came for the stores with $15 or less, I honestly wouldn't say don't buy it. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll be breaking into all the future buffs as well for World of Tanks Blitz with the Sturm Mill that got a massive traverse speed buff and as well top speed buff. We'll be breaking into the Black Prince and everything else you need to know, so make sure to keep postponed. But other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!